Another Marvel movie. You know I'm excited. But is it any good? Is it an Avengers level event like director Peyton Reed said? Well, let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Antman and the Wasp Quantumania review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Kang the Conqueror is in full effect. Kang gang over here. Yes, I know you love the drip. All right, guys, so if you subscribe to my channel, you know these Marvel movies or comic book in general are my favorite to address on my channel. I don't know why, they just resonate with me so well. I really do love the MCU. I really do love the Ant-Man franchise. You know, Peyton Reed really did surprise me with the first Ant-Man. I was bitter going into that film because I really wanted Edgar Wright to come and direct that, but he walked because of creative differences. I believe in 2013 or 2014. But Peyton Reed did come through for the first two films and did deliver the goodness. Now, this is what the gentleman looks like right here, director Peyton Reed. And if we just scroll down just a little bit at his filmography, like I said, he did do the first Ant-Man film that came out in 2015, did the sequel in 2018. And we just go a little bit further, he did Yes Man in 2008, which was pretty good. The Breakup in 2006, and also Bring It On all the way back 23 years ago. I was still in high school during that time, and I do love that film. I do love that film. But the director, Peyton Reed, has been on record saying that he does not want the next Ant-Man film to be another palate cleanser for an Avengers film. And I really don't blame him for saying that. I mean, 2015, right after Age of Ultron came out, we did get an Ant-Man film, and the same thing after Infinity War. But he's like, hey, I've been making some good products. I want a little bit more responsibility. This will be an Avengers-led film. That on top of Jonathan Majors, who is just still up and coming as a rising star in Hollywood. I love him. He's a phenomenal actor. So he's playing Kang the Conqueror, one of the best villains in Marvel Comics. Like, I'm super duper excited about this, and my expectations were pretty high. Going into the previous Ant-Man films, I was looking forward to them, but I cannot say that I was at the same excitement level for those two films that I was for Quantumania. And just real quick, as far as my expectations are concerned, I want to let you know that I feel that Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man 1 and 2, are in the top 15 of the best MCU movies, of the best Marvel movies. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, along with Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, explore the quantum realm, where they interact with strange creatures and embark on an adventure that goes beyond the limits of what they thought was possible. But first, let's start out with the good. I want to praise Marvel, with this being the 31st film in their arc, in their franchise, in their cinematic universe, that they are delivering something different. I know a lot of people like to run with the headlines, and it's kind of popular to say that there is a superhero fatigue, a comic book adaptation fatigue. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And this Ant-Man film, Quantumania, does help with that because they do deliver you something that you've never seen before. That term is also thrown around a lot, but genuinely, this is something that you've never seen before. 95% of this movie is taking place in a quantum realm, a world that human beings, we cannot comprehend. And that's new. It's not a political thriller. There's no aliens coming down, or we're going to space within Guardians of the Galaxy or anything like that. Not that any of those things are bad. They're not. But this is a completely different environment that we've ever gotten in the MCU or any comic book film, with it being a microverse. And I really did like that. So I have to praise the film there. Also, what's great about this film, Quantumania, and the rest of the Ant-Man films are they are funny. They do have a lot of jokes, silly moments, and are goofy. And the Ant-Man franchise has succeeded as far as carving out that lane in the MCU. They are dominating that space, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we want serious movies, sometimes we want light movies, sometimes we want goofy, silly movies. And Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, as well as the other two films, again, are leading that race. And that's just another thing that makes this film great, is that it is funny, it is lighthearted, and it did make me laugh. It did make me smile, especially in the first 2 acts of this movie, and I loved every part of it. And this film is called Antman and the Wasp Quantumania, but it would have been nice if they called it somewhat of the Antman family, because the screen time is spread out throughout the whole cast. Cassie Lang, Hope Van Dyne, Janet Van Dyne, Scott Lang, the whole bunch is there. And I do like everyone's interactions and the way that they're getting along with each other. The whole family dynamic I thought was brilliant, especially when it comes to the relationship between Cassie and Scott Lang, who is being played by Paul Rudd, the titular character Antman. I really do like that he is struggling as a man. He just saved the world. He just fought with the Avengers, but he is having the hardest time being a father to his daughter Cassie, and that is somewhat realistic. I mean, being a parent is not easy, and this film made sure that you know of that. And just breaking down each character, Cassie Lang, of course, is in this film. She was recast, now being played by Catherine Newton, and I thought she did a great job. I do like the fact that she wants to and she aspires to be a superhero, kind of like her dad, like the other Avengers, that just wants to be a great person. That is very notable. That is very honorable, and I do like her character for that. There's some other aspects about her character that I do not like that I will touch on a little bit later in this review, but it is respectable in the very least that she wants to use her mind, her powers, abilities, technology, whatever, to do good for the greater of man. Now, Hope Van Dyne, Wasp, the other titular character in this film, being played by Evangeline Lilly, she's always great as well. I did like her attitude and spunkiness and how difficult she gave Scott a hard time in the first 2 films. This film right here, she's still great. She takes kind of a back seat. I'm not necessarily going to take off any points for that, but if you are a big fan of her character, that may be noticeable to you and it could make you a bit upset. To me, it really didn't bother me, but I'm pretty sure there are going to be some people that are not really a fan of that. And as far as Hank and Janet is concerned, by Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas, they're fine as well. I do like the banter that they had back and forth. Their love is still strong, and that did show on screen, and I liked all the jokes that were going back and forth between them. I kind of wish the film would have fleshed that out a little bit more. There was a funny joke from a cameo that popped up in this film. I don't want to spoil that here. And it was funny. I laughed. I did enjoy it. I just kind of wanted more of it. I kind of feel like it was a missed opportunity, but the little bit that we did get was great, and it will leave a smile on your face. And while majority of this film does take place in the quantum realm, I'll say again around 95%, it did take me a while to get on board and kind of understand everything that was going on. It wasn't difficult, but I was interested. I was intrigued. I caught myself, especially in the first act, and then going into the second, leaning forward in my chair with my hand on my chin, just trying to soak everything in to get a full understanding. I do like that because, again, this film does give you something different than we've never seen before in the MCU. But, of course, we got to talk about the man on my shirt right here, Kang. Kang the Conqueror, the leader of the Kang gang, being played by Mr. Jonathan Majors, who was in Devotion, who is going to be in Creed, who was in Lovecraft Country. This man is phenomenal, and he was in this film as well, too. By far, Jonathan Majors as Kang is the best part of this movie. I love nearly every aspect of him. From the tone of his words, his mannerisms, his style, the makeup on his face with the scars, his powers, abilities, costumes, all that. He was just flawless. And the way that he will walk and sometimes glide across the scene just shows so much authority and confidence, and I loved it. I mean, this man knew that there was no way that he was going to lose. He just knew that he needed to move a few pieces on the chessboard, and in his case, the checkerboard, because it was kind of that easy for him that things were going to go his way. He was nice, but also talked crap at the same time. And I love the mixture in between those two. Kang, what are you going to do if you get out? I am going to win. And he just rises up in glory. And I'm just like, wow. And the man is a menace. He is not playing around. He shows you just how powerful and dangerous that he is. And that if you cross him, he will kill you without a thought. Do not talk out of turn. Do not talk out of place, because with his powers and abilities, he will fling you across the room like you're an annoying booger at the end of your finger. I know that was gross, but that's just what came to my mind at the time. But again, Kang is serious, and I loved everything about him in this movie. And there are some aspects in this movie to where if he is the next big bad in the MCU, the Avengers, everybody alive is going to have a very, very difficult time trying to take him out. It also goes into the post-credit scenes, which I will talk about in a second without spoiling it, of course. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to the MCU and what's going to happen in the future because of Kang, played by Jonathan Majors. Woo! Great job, sir. Great job. The action was also pretty fine as well. Sometimes it was hard trying to make out where the little Antman were, how small they were, mixing all in the quantum realm. But for the most part, I was able to follow it and I was engaged. And also, we have MODOK in this film, a mechanized organism designed only for kill, I believe is the correct way to say it, that is being played by Corey Stoll, aka Darren, in this film. We know that he was sent to the quantum realm at the end of the first film, and now he's returned. That is in the trailers. I'm not spoiling anything for you. And I will say that I did like the design of MODOK and the introduction when he is bouncing between characters that he knew from the past films. I like the dialogue. I like the interactions. I like how everybody responded to his character. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was fun. I thought it was perfect. And so I really did like the introduction of MODOK. I'll save what else I have to say later. So to sum up the good, 95% of this movie takes place in the quantum realm. It did look visually appealing. If you want to see this film on the biggest screen possible, I do agree with that. You are making a great choice. This film was also able to deliver something that you've never seen before, and that's great as well. I love the whole family dynamic, especially between Scott and his daughter Cassie. The introduction of MODOK was great. I did like the action, and Kang was serious. I really liked everything that he put on screen. This is a very, very strong character. But guys, that is going to sum up everything that I did like about the film. Now let me transition to some things that really did not work for me. And it is unfortunate. Everything that makes the Ant-Man film so great, that makes it stand out from anything else in the MCU, is the comedy, is the lightheartedness, is the silliness, is the goofiness. But that worked in the first and second act of this movie, but it did not work in the third act and really did put a bad taste in my mouth. I do not understand why Marvel keeps making the mistake of inserting jokes into serious moments when the tension is supposed to be high. Now, you can do this successfully. It is very difficult. I will give you some examples of success. Where in Infinity War, when they was on the Battle of Wakanda, Groot says, "I am Groot," and Steve Rogers says, "I am Steve Rogers." There was a nice organic moment of funniness, of comedy, of lightheartedness that worked in the serious moment. Also in Endgame, when the Hammer, Mjolnir, and Stormbreaker got switched between Captain America, Steve Rogers, and Chris Hemsworth, Thor, he was like, "Oh no, give me the big one. You take the little one." It was a silly, goofy moment, but it still worked. During that battle, the tension wasn't cut. It just worked out nicely. That's very difficult to do. They tried to do that a number of times during the third act in this film, when it's the final showdown, when they're at war, when it's a battle, when it's a rebellion. A good 3 or 4 times they made this attempt, and it failed every single time, and I did not like it. It clocked me out. It put a bad taste in my mouth. I rolled my eyes like, man, why aren't they taking this seriously? And I hate when Marvel does that. I could go on a rant of other MCU films that they've done it in, but I don't want to be here for an additional 15 minutes, and I don't think you want to be either. But Marvel, please stop doing that. There's nothing wrong with jokes and corniness and all that, but try your best to save it for the first and second act of the film, or just don't put it where people are fighting, where people are supposed to die, where I'm supposed to be scared if our heroes are going to survive or not. I'm tired of it. You keep on doing it. Please stop, because it's really hurting your movies. Another thing that I really didn't care for in this film is Kang was great. Jonathan Majors was great when he was actually fighting, when he was engaged in the fight. But as great as he was, his army, his armada, his fleet, his empire was not so great. It was very, very weak to me. That is a big bummer. During the film, they hype it up so much, like, I've been in a quantum realm and have built this empire. But the Empire just did not seem that strong. And that's really unfortunate. It really is. I was pretty bummed out about that. Now, I did praise Casey Lang earlier during the good portion, saying that I liked her character. It's admirable, all this, because she wants to be a hero. But at the same time, I despise her character because she was so disrespectful to her father, Scott Lang. Like, there's just no way that I would be able to talk to my mother that way, the way she was talking to Scott. It really did bother me. Now, her character is realistic in real life. Unfortunately, sometimes sons and daughters do speak to their parents that way. I just wish that Scott would have put his foot down a little bit more and checked her and be like, hey, you listen here, little girl. Being a parent is not easy. You're out of pocket. Stop it. Or I will send you to the quantum realm by yourself. I'm joking, but I just kind of wish he would have checked her a bit more, so that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Also, while I did like Darren coming back, MODOK, the mechanized or mechanical organism designed only to kill. Like I said, I liked his design and I liked his reintroduction into this film during the first 2 acts, but I hated everything they did with him in the 3rd act. They made him a stupid dick joke that wasn't funny, and I'm just like, why are y'all doing this? This is supposed to be a killing machine. Come on. Y'all succeeded with MODOK with the look. Yes, the character did look ridiculous in this film, but he also looked ridiculous on the comic page, and so that's accurate. I'm not complaining about that. But come on, man. You can't have a killing machine in your acronym, but you don't kill anybody, and then he just turns into a dick joke in the 3rd act. It's not funny, and it really did clock me out. I despise that part of this movie big time. I'm also curious how a non-loving comic book average moviegoer will feel about this movie. Kevin Feige always talks about he designed the MCU to where if you're not familiar with all the previous TV shows or films, that you can just kind of walk into this and you will be A-okay. You will be able to comprehend everything. I'm not sure a regular audience member will feel that way, but that's subjective as well. I was just kind of saying that to myself because the quantum realm is a lot. I don't know if I want to go back there in Ant-Man 4, but this movie was a lot to take in. It comes in at 2 hours and 5 minutes, and I felt it could have been a lot longer to flesh out the quantum realm more and also give us more Wasp and Hope and Janet. I kind of wanted this movie to be a little bit longer as well. But overall, guys, I really did enjoy this film. I can possibly rank them now, or I may have to think about it a little bit more, but this film didn't suck. It wasn't horrible, but my expectations were just super, super high, and they wasn't reached, unfortunately. I think Peyton Reed may have bit off a bit more than he can chew when he says that this is going to be an Avengers level threat, because I just didn't feel it there. Again, it doesn't mean that the film is bad. It's not. But I will be honest with you and say that out of all of the Ant-Man movies, this one is my least favorite. And again, that's just to show that Ant-Man 1 and 2 was just that good, but this one is my least favorite. Now, I think if I wanted to rank them, the first Ant-Man is still number 1. Ant-Man and the Wasp Part 2 is right there, right below Ant-Man 1. And this one right here is in 3rd place in the order of its release. I'll go ahead and give my rating for this movie at the very end of this video, but let me clean house a little bit. I was able to attend the red carpet world premiere for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I had a phenomenal time. There's some videos on my channel right now about that. I was able to meet Jonathan Majors and Kevin Feige, and I did vlog the whole experience, and I will be uploading that on my channel very soon. So subscribe and make sure you check that out because I want you to be a part of this as well. Also, I will be hosting a number of spoiler reviews on my channel. I already recorded one at the time of this recording with Chris with 3C Films. Dude has a great channel. I'm also going to be recording one with Eman with Eman's movie reviews and Elliot with movie files. And also shout out to Eman. I do appreciate the invite to the red carpet. And I will also possibly be going live this Saturday. I don't know the exact date. I think the 18th with Kimberly Currin from Southern California and anybody else in the crew that wants to join because I love these movies and I love talking about them. So if you're interested in all that good stuff, make sure you subscribe to the channel and help me reach my next milestone of 50,000 subscribers. But guys, if I had to rate Kang, that's not the name of this movie. If I had to rate Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania out of a 1 out of 10, I think I feel comfortable right now giving this a 7 out of 10. Yes, a 7 out of 10. I have found a lot of people telling me that they did enjoy this movie more than Thor, Love and Thunder, if that kind of helps in your scaling. I didn't hate that movie. I liked it more than everybody else, but I want to know, after you see this film, what do you think? What is this movie better than Eternals, Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever? Let's have a conversation below. And also let me know your ranking of this movie after you see it, and also whether you like the Ant-Man films and what order and all that good stuff. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Cadavery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.